Hey, it's Jamie Moore here. You're on the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast, and I'm very happy to welcome to the studio Shelbourne defender and PFAI Committee Management member. Is that correct? Luke Byrne, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Jamie.
Thanks for coming in.
Cheers for having me. Yeah.
So let's talk about the football, but not the football first. You guys released a statement during the week, basically about recent events, and saying that you guys were not surprised by what you'd seen, and that you wanted confirmation that the board had been involved in the debates between the PFAI and the FAI, and that the League of Ireland has been the poor relation lagging behind grassroots and men's international team in terms of importance. Yourself, Anya O'Gorman, Paul Skinner, Dean Clark, Oscar Brennan, Brendan Clark, Paul O'Connor, Shane Supple and the chairman, Dundalk keeper Gary Rogers co-signed that statement. What was your kind of thoughts on the last few weeks and the reason for writing that statement?
Yeah, I think what you've seen the last few weeks is it's just probably a culmination of probably like the stories that have come out. It's been an opportunity for people to express kind of their discontent and their dissatisfaction really with the job the FAI and John Delaney have done, particularly in relation to the league. And I think it goes back to 2014 when he called the league a problem child. Like, this is the man that's supposed to be promoting and, you know, developing the league. And I think we've got like an opportunity now as a country to, you know, it's a fresh start. And I think anyone who's got a voice has to be brave and use it. Like, and I think in fairness, Stephen and Ollie, Gary Rogers, obviously, you know, they kind of drove it, and we were all obviously happy to be involved and put our name to it, because I think as players we have to speak up.
So you signed for Bows in 2011, a couple of years there, 4 years with Shamrock Rovers and most recently with Shelbourne, so that's a good stint mostly as a full-time footballer. How have you found the League of Ireland as a player in terms of how it's been run, FAI involvement and all that sort of stuff? And in 2014, when you're listening to the chief executive of the FAI calling the league that you play in and work in a problem?
Well, I think originally, like, the comment is just so disrespectful to a lot of people on a lot of different levels, you know, coaches, players, fans. A lot of people's lives and, you know, livelihoods revolve around this league, and it was just, like I said, disrespectful. But in terms of my own experience, like, I've never had an issue in terms of, you know, clubs missing wages or mistreating players. I've been lucky to be at 3 clubs that treat their players well. But, you know, lads around the league, and you speak to people, and obviously there was the Bray and Limerick instance, I suppose, and I'm not one to say how much the FAI were involved or weren't involved, but I don't think the growth and the development of the league in the last few years can be put down to the FAI. I think that's on the clubs themselves, and they deserve credit for it.
And there certainly has been like a major issue between Steve McGuinness and the PFAI and Fran Gavin and the SSE Electricity League and the FAI over those issues and over other issues as well. And I understand maybe there was a meeting this week, I'm not sure who was in it, but I know Stephen from the PFAI was invited to kind of speak to the FAI, and that hasn't been ideal either from either side, that there has been this split and, like, you know, one having to go to the other in the media and so on, and that's been something that you've kind of been involved in the background as a committee member. Yeah,
it's definitely not ideal. Like, you need football needs its governing body, and obviously the PFAI committee, they need to be working hand in hand, and that relationship is only something that will benefit Irish football. All that anyone wants out of this is just the betterment of Irish football, and obviously it's well known, like, the breakdown of communication and between the PFAI and the FAI, and how, like, knowing Stephen and Ollie like I do, everything they do is just with the aim of improving welfare for players and improving, you know, football within the league. And hopefully now, like I said, this is an opportunity for a new board. Obviously he's going to come in, new CEO, but hopefully whoever does come in will kind of mend those bridges.
Does it feel as a player that there is an opportunity for a freshness and a real change in the direction of football in the country at all levels?
100%. I think Noel Quinn said it well yesterday. It's not an overnight thing, but we've been given an opportunity now to just start fresh and put new roots in the ground, really, and go forward from here. Like, I think it can't be forgotten, like, how much good work goes on within the FAI. Like, you look at all the underage international teams and how well they're doing, and the coaches, I've seen them firsthand on the coaching courses, how good they are and stuff, and there's the national leagues and stuff. But from a boardroom level now, it's an opportunity for a new start.
Yeah, I just made some notes here about that, and Lucas said it very well about, the rest of the FAI staff, the people who work, from the point of view of the international teams, the under-21s doing so well with Stephen Kenny so far, the 19s have qualified for the Euros again, the under-17s are going to host the Euros later on this year, the 15s and 16s and 18s have done well in recent years too. I've come through the coach education myself, it's top class, one of the best in Europe. The regional development officers working at the grassroots with your kids and the different kids around the country, people working in sales and marketing and that sort of stuff, and also in the communications department too. There are so many, there's over 200 FAI staff, and the high majority of them are top class workers and top class people, and unfortunately in recent weeks have just probably been dragged in by like the negative headlines that have been in the media for the last while, and that's a shame, because you said it too, there are so many good people who have to walk around wearing an FAI tracksuit, and people are probably looking at them going, God, they're linked to whatever else, and they're just not, like. Yeah,
I think, maybe people who only see the headlines and kind of that's all they really know, is in terms of the problems with the FAI or whatever recently that have come out. They might kind of confuse the two, but like you said, just for example, people walking around in FAI tracksuits, this isn't about them. They, anyone I've ever met in the FAI and worked on the coaching courses or who's coached me in underage international teams, I can't speak highly enough of them, and I think people within football can differentiate between the two. It's who's above those people. Yeah, and there's been reports in the last week that the Premier Clubs Alliance again have met, and 9 of them, bar Finn Harps, were there, and about this opportunity for the clubs to run the league themselves, or the clubs and the FAI to run the league together, and the agreement is up at the end of the season too. And I know at the moment you're playing in the first division, but you'll be back in the Premier soon, no doubt, and have played your whole career there so far. What do you think is the best option moving forward in terms of who runs the League of Ireland and how it's run? It's very difficult for me to say, because like you're saying, talking about this new alliance coming in, I don't know what their ambitions are, what their plans are. I don't know who now gets involved in the FAI, who's in charge of the league. I don't know what their plans are, so I wouldn't really be qualified to say, but I've listened to what Niall Quinn has to say and stuff like that, and I know he's kind of, he's making movements to maybe try and get involved in some capacity, and I really like what he's had to say so far. I think he's obviously got good experience within football and, being involved as chairman of Sunderland, so I think he'd be someone who could do good things to the league, and I just think Brian Kerr has to be involved in some capacity. It's a joke that he hasn't been for the last however many years, 15 I think. Yeah, I've actually got those two names, Quinn and Kerr, written down here, and I actually thought in recent months that Niall Quinn was trying to set himself up to be the chief executive of the new League of Ireland company, but now I think he could actually be the new chief executive of the FAI. And I think with this reports about the board all going to resign at the AGM and a new board and stuff, I don't necessarily think that there now has to be a split between the League of Ireland and the FAI if the new people are coming in. And if someone like Niall Quinn was to come in as the CEO of the FAI, I think he could very adequately run that and the League of Ireland as part of kind of the one company. Yeah, like you said, originally until this kind of last month or whatever, it looked like the league had to break away from the FAI, but now with new people coming in, you don't know what attitude they'll take towards the league. Hopefully it's a positive one, so it does look more likely now like someone, whether it's Niall Quinn or someone else, they can run the league and be maybe a CEO or on the board of some capacity for the FAI. So yeah, like I said, I'm not really qualified to say, but I do like what he's had to say in the media. Yeah, he's been really good in the last while too, and there's been stuff as well about the possibility of a player being on the FAI board, or a coach, and a fans group and stuff as well, and just being on the management committee of the PFAI, which you are at the moment, like, what involvement do you think like a player, for example, could have in a new FAI structure in terms of, like, we've spoken about the differences between the PFAI and the FAI, whether there was actually a player on the board or a former player, a recently retired player on the board, that would be a voice for players and so on? Suppose it can just give an insight into what it's like as a player, whether it's training conditions, whether it's to do with wages, I don't know if it's medical, kind of being covered medically, I don't know, there's all sorts of insights a player could give, or an ex-player. I think it would probably be more suited to an ex-player who's just fresh out of the game. But like, there's brilliant businessmen and stuff in boardrooms and people who've been involved in football, but they might not have the complete know-how of what day-to-day life as a professional footballer is like, and an ex-player or whatever could help them there. You're on the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast. It's Jamie Moore here with the Shelbourne defender Luke Byrne, who's also on the PFAI Management Committee. So we'll move now from the stuff off the pitch as such to the stuff on the pitch, and Luke playing for Shelbourne in the first division so far. How have you adjusted firstly to life as a
footballer who trains in the evening as opposed to a footballer who trains in the morning? And you spoke about business minds, and you're now in college in the daytime and playing football in the evening.
Yeah, so I used to play in the morning and go to college part-time in the evenings, and I've just flipped it on its head, really. I still train. We train the exact same days as I would have at Rovers, and we just train in the evening instead of the morning. And during the day I'm going to college and going to the gym, so I'm lucky that I still have enough spare time that I can live like a professional footballer.
Yeah, we're just having a look at you on screen there in action for Shells. How has the season been so far? Like, you're fifth in the league, 13 points from 8 games, 4 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats, I think. And it's been a start to the season that not many expected, because anybody said you were going to kind of win the league at the top without any real challenge, and that so far hasn't been the case.
Yeah, like, I think what you've seen is it's really, really competitive, and any week anyone can beat anyone, and I think you could start this Friday in 6th and maybe end up top, something like that. It's been like that for a couple of weeks, so it's a really competitive league. And coming from our point of view, we're a new team. You know, we've been a lot of us have only just joined the club, so I think the last couple of games, 2 or 3 games, we've showed signs of really gelling, and we've done all right, the last couple of games.
Yeah, Bray in 6th on 12 points, Longford at the top on 17 points. Now, Longford do have a game in hand, but that just shows, as you said, how, 1st to 6th is a gap of only 5 points, and apart from the race for the title, the race for the top 4 looks really, really hot so far. Yeah,
exactly, and that's the benefit of the playoffs. I suppose it keeps things competitive further down the league for as long as possible, and there really is any number of teams now that will fancy the chances of getting in that top 4.
Scoreless draw last Friday against another team who we think will be towards the top in Drogheda. What was that game like?
It was quite scrappy. I thought we dominated the first half. In fairness to them, they dominated the second. I think we had the best chance of the night, and I don't think anyone could complain with a draw, really. I think it was a fair result.
And that's been kind of the way it's been in a lot of the games so far, that you go on a Friday night and you're not quite sure what the result will be. Is that something again that has been a surprise for you guys? Even looking at the fact that your squad is like basically a Premier Division squad.
No, personally it hasn't been really, because every week, like, you look at the 11 or the 18 names that are in and around the opposition's matchday squad, and there's good players really in any squad, and yeah, we have a lot of lads that have played in the Premier Division and have played there for a number of years, but there's a lot of maybe lesser known lads playing in other teams that haven't played in that league yet but are well capable of it, and I certainly respect them, and I know the lads at Shells, we all do, so we never looked at it as we were going to run away with the league like other people were saying. Yeah,
a really good example of that is actually Rob Manley from Cabinteely, who'll join us later on, and I think he scored against Shells earlier in the year as well. You've been playing in a new position this season, left side at centre back. You played a little bit in a back 3 at Shamrock Rovers, but maybe not too often at centre back. What was the thought process behind the change of position?
I've kind of played there on and off for years, even since I was at Bowes. I've kind of played left side centre half. Last year I played right side centre half a few times, and I've always kind of seen myself ending up there. I didn't know at what age or whatever, but I'm still able to go and play fullback if needs be, but I'm enjoying playing centre half, and I wouldn't say learning on the job as such, but I'm definitely I would say learning on the job, really. Yeah, every week I'm kind of learning something more about the role, and I do like playing there.
What are the differences between there and left back, where you have played for a lot of your career?
Left back is more physically demanding in terms of just getting up and down the line, and you've got to contribute attacking wise, and maybe defending, you can just focus on your winger, and that can be your sole kind of constantly. Defensively it's just, do I stop my winger? But centre half, you see a lot of the game, and I think there's more responsibility on you to speak to lads in front of you and around you, and there's probably more responsibility on you in terms of getting the back 4 up and down the pitch, and you've got runners in front of you and balls in the box, so it does pose different questions of you, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, because I suppose when you're playing left back, you're so used to picking up different positions for different reasons at different times of games, and you can almost do it via I suppose your muscle memory, really.
Yeah.
Whereas at centre back it's probably a little bit different, and there's still times of games where you're probably maybe having to think, where do I need to be in this scenario, whereas had it been at left back you would just be there without even thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. It's happened to me a couple of times this year, and the managers obviously played there, and so has Jay McGuinness, and they've been very good. They've said to me at different times, "No, you've gone and you shouldn't have, or you should have gone and you haven't," that kind of thing. And I am conscious of maybe being pulled a little bit wide because I've operated really as a left back my whole life, so that's just all part of it, really, just learning.
Yeah, and one point I wanted to make, in general, this week is about fans and supporters actually supporting their teams. And I was down at Longford a few weeks ago watching Shells, and the result didn't go well, but you know, a few of the fans stayed behind to have a go at Ian Morris and have a go at the Shells players. I know the other night after what happened to Cork and UCD, the same thing happened, and like the fans on Twitter are hammering John Caulfield. And you know, there's been other clubs this season where, you know, things haven't gone well and the manager's been hammered, and someone actually nailed it on Twitter and said, you're supporters, so support the team. And that's something I just wanted to say today. In the case of Shells, for example, a new manager and a new squad. In the case of Cork, you know, look what John Caulfield has done over the years, and he's getting hammered from every quarter when, you know, things haven't gone well for the start of the season. And that's something you guys as players have experienced too, and you really do need, you know, whatever club you're at, I know you experienced it at Rovers too, fans to actually support the team because you need it.
100%, like we're all football fans at the end of the day. Like I support Man United, and last night I didn't enjoy the game, but
I did.
I'd say so, yeah. But like, I think if you're looking at your team and they lose, if they're just not good enough on the night, I think you can accept it. I think what you can't accept is like a lack of effort or, you know, a lack of desire or whatever. I certainly don't think we could be accused of that this season. Yeah, we didn't play well in Longford. One of those nights that happened, but we tried. And look, fans are always going to kind of voice their disapproval or whatever, and you've just got to learn to take it and get on with it.
Yeah, and of course fans are spending their money every week to watch the team, and they are very entitled to their opinion. Even in Cork, I was actually annoyed by some of the tweets towards John Caulfield the other night, because look what he's done for the club, and other managers have done the same. And I mean, even listening to Stephen Bradley recently saying that, you know, at that time when the Rovers fans unveiled the banner saying enough is enough, and the club stuck with him, and now they're top of the table. So it's something that I just wanted to make a point of today. Luke, lastly, you're well over your recent injury. I know we spoke to you last year on the Sports Show 98 FM about it. Just give us the background to kind of your latest recovery, because you missed a lot of last season, but kind of a freak injury, and before that you had a bad knee injury too.
Yeah, I missed pretty much a year to the day a couple of years ago with my knee, and made a full recovery from that. Was back playing about over a year without any injuries, and then, like you said, a bit of a freak injury that it was my own fault, and I did it in a warm-up before the game against Sligo last July. I was starting and done it in the possession, just an innocuous tackle, and couldn't really diagnose it, just couldn't really get to the bottom of it. So a few different treatments and tests and stuff, just couldn't really nail it what it was. And eventually I saw a surgeon who said, no, you need an operation. So I missed, obviously it overlapped into the off season, but I missed about 7 months with that, which was frustrating because I didn't feel at the time it was that bad. But look, I'm over it now. I've been available for every game bar one since the start of pre-season, so I'm thankful for that.
Nice to be back.
Yeah, you miss it so much when you're not involved. Even the nights when you lose and stuff, you're just grateful to be playing, really.
Now, Dave, lastly, there's two images of Luke. One playing for Bowles in the black and red, if we can see that one. In 2012 this was. Look at you there, my God, you look about 14. And then there's one in the green and white of Shamrock Rovers, Dave, as well, taken last season. That's in 2018. The difference, and it's 6 years, obviously, and you've gone from a teenager to being a man. But you are still playing in the League of Ireland Premier with Bowles at that size, and now you were playing for Rovers and now Shells, as a totally different athlete. That's the pictures really are incredible to look at.
The only difference there for me is the tan, really, in the two pictures.
And the tattoo.
Yeah, I think I was told quite young, when I was a teenager, that I was quite small and stuff, so I took a growth spurt and I focused a lot in the gym, so there's not really a lot between me in terms of body weight there in those photos, and I'm kind of the exact same now as I have been since I was about 18, so it's something I tried to stay on top of, but yeah, it's funny looking back at them.
Luke Byrne, thanks for coming in.
Thanks.